Welcome back to News Conference. With us, Fiorina, Republican candidate for the United States Senate. I'd like to get into your personal background, but before, let's talk about the big ticket item in Washington right now, health care reform. Is it the responsibility, do you see a certain amount of responsibility on the part of the federal government to provide affordable health care to every American?
You know, as a breast cancer survivor, this is a subject near and dear to my heart. And yes, I believe every American should have access to quality, affordable health care. Sadly, however, the health care reform bill that's currently sitting in Washington, D.C. achieves none of its goals. It doesn't lower the cost of health care, it increases it. It doesn't lower the cost of health insurance premiums, it raises them. It doesn't improve the quality of health care. There's so many other things we should have and could have, and I hope will try
what is
to
the matter
reform
with the public
healthcare.
Option to balance against the private sector?
Well, you know what I find so interesting about all this conversation about the health insurance companies, they have been, in essence, regulated so that they're not really forced to compete for people's business. Let's create a truly competitive market for health insurance. Let's allow people to buy health insurance across state lines. I talk to small business owners in California all the time, and they tell me, nobody's competing for my business. I have to take from what my health insurance company provides me. We know the competition works. I'm sorry, I have never seen a government agency deliver better than a competitive private sector can.
Well, some have argued, though, if that happens, it will be like the credit card industry. The insurance companies will end up in Nevada or North Carolina, North Dakota, where there's very few regulation, and there will actually be less choice.
Well, so let's regulate them nationally. Let's make sure that it is a free and fair competitive marketplace. But the truth is, we don't have competition in the health insurance marketplace today. Let's create competition, not by a public option and assuming that the government can run anything more efficiently than the private sector. You know, talk to a veteran about what they have to go through when they go to a VA hospital. They would love to be able to go get routine care, for example, from another hospital or have privately provided health insurance.
Background, you grew up where?
I grew up in Palo Alto, Stanford, California. I moved there when I was 7.
You went to Stanford?
I went to Stanford. I majored in, of all things, medieval history, which meant I was unemployable when I graduated, and so I went off to UCLA Law School for a brief semester. Decided law school wasn't for me, and
despite the fact your father is an attorney.
That's right. Well, he was a law professor, and then became a federal judge on the Ninth Circuit. But I went back to work doing the only thing I knew to pay the bills. I became a full-time receptionist. I typed, I filed, I answered the phones. I was hired by a small business in California, and they gave me an opportunity, and for that, I'm forever grateful.
You were a Kelly girl at one
I was a
point,
Kelly
right?
girl. Now that's politically incorrect.
But I mean, for HP.
No, well, yes, I worked at HP. I was a Kelly girl in college. That was how I paid some of my college bills. And one of the businesses that I was sent off to in the summer after my freshman year was to Hewlett-Packard, and I worked in the shipping department of Hewlett-Packard.
And you never thought at one point I'd be running this company?
No, I never thought that. Frankly, I was just trying to make sure that I could pay my bills and get good grades at that point.
Did you ever experience gender discrimination?
Oh, of course. You know, all women have been discriminated against, but people of color are discriminated against. But for every time I felt discriminated against, I also had people who took a chance on me. I got started in business because 2 men came to my desk one day and said, you know, we think you can do more than type and file. And so in my experience, you have to be realistic and understand that some people will decide to define you in a certain way based on your gender or the color of your skin or perhaps your religion. You have to decide that you're capable of doing anything you choose. And in my experience, you'll find more people who are willing to give you the chance to prove what you can do.
We just have 45 seconds left. How did cancer change you?
You know, cancer
we
is
should point out, you're a breast cancer survivor.
I'm a breast cancer survivor. That's why I had this kind of weird hairdo. Because, you know, you lose all your hair. Thankfully, I'm past the hard-boiled egg phase where you have no hair, no eyebrows, no eyelashes. First, I am immensely grateful. And I'm grateful because I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm grateful for the support and love of my family and my friends. Secondly, it puts everything in a different perspective. When you face your own mortality, then nothing really scares you the same way anymore. And, you know, honestly, after chemotherapy, Barbara Boxer doesn't scare me, politics doesn't scare me, and finally, it makes me even more determined to make the most of my time, and it's why I'm so passionate about running for this office and serving the people of California.
Carly Fiorina, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.